84% of people worldwide have the same addiction, not to drugs, but to this device right here. Ask yourself, what is the first thing you do when you wake up in the morning? If you're like most of us, you pick up your phone and scroll through Facebook or Instagram, you check the weather. If you're like most college students, you check your Instagram and your bank account. Society demands that we be socially aware, but technologically savvy. Many of us use 3 screens at the same time. Schools require that you use a computer, workplaces utilize different interfaces, and kids, you should see what a 3-year-old can do with an iPad. I talked to Tamika Barnes, whose 3-year-old is already mastering technology.
I think it's just part of the lifestyle, and part of what I've liked is that he already knows kind of how to use the screens, and what I'm also seeing is in the classrooms, they're also using some iPads or computers and things like that, even in his daycare. So screen time may be an issue, but at the same time, it's also teaching him about some of the technology that's being used today. So. As Tamika Barnes stated in our interview, parents do not worry about screen addiction because of everyday circumstances, our busy lifestyles, and how interactive technology is with students in schools. In some countries, high schools issue laptops out to students that they use the remainder of the year for homework assignments. Certain restaurants don't even require a server for every item a table needs. Instead, a tablet is ready on the table for appetizers and payments. As technology grows, smartphones are becoming more and more like mini computers. This increase in smartphones has opened up more gateways of communication and has helped society maneuver. When driving on the highway or even passing by the Georgia Dome, you are bound to see digital advertisements. These billboards and digital signs are placed all along I-20 and I-75. Children and teenagers are becoming more and more dependent on media and technology in their everyday life. Information and technology is constantly at our fingertips. This creates a faster lifestyle for people. But what if all this technology is negatively impacting our lives? I spoke with Lachey Johnson about her depression and social media.
Nobody posts the bad things. You know what I'm saying? So when you're on there, and then, with me coming to the end of school, all of my friends were getting these super good achievements, and I was nothing but happy for them. But it makes you question yourself, what am I doing? Why am I not having these grand, announcements or anything like that going on in my life? And then you just have to reevaluate. And instead of me reevaluating, instead of me recentering my focus, I just kind of went downhill from there.
The use of screens has become so common that most people don't realize they are addicted. Since the late 1990s, kids and teens have increased their use of technology. Kids aged 8 to 12 are spending 6 hours a day on some sort of screen, and teens are spending more than 9 hours on their devices. I spoke with Danny Darby, the curriculum coordinator at the Georgia State Child Development Center, about their work.
All of our children have access to screens at home. All of our children, play on computers, they play games using the phone or iPads, so they have a lot of time doing that. When they come to school, we want them to have multisensory experiences where they're learning using their 5 senses.
It is said that children should not be exposed to screens before the age of 2. At that age, they develop brain activity towards screens, and human sensors can be detached. iPads, phones, and TVs are all easy distractions for children when parents are busy. Information and technology is constantly at our fingertips, which is causing a fast-paced lifestyle for us. But is all of this technology negatively impacting our lives? As a result of increasing screen time, depression, loneliness, and anxiety are all common among people who suffer from screen addiction. These side effects are not just affecting our children, but us as well.
Is looking at social media for validation of themselves. And so a lot of times what will happen is a student will go on social media and they'll see that somebody else is doing better than them, and has all these likes, on their pictures, and has all these followers and things like that. Now, if a student looks at that and takes it to mean that they're bad or they're not a good person, that can lead them to become sadder and maybe even depressed.
Students who use social media and screen time daily increase their chance of depression by 27%. Most teens who suffer from screen addiction are more likely to have poor health unhappiness, and depression.
And so, limiting, just kind of when you're on social media, think about how is that making me feel? And if you notice that it's making you feel depressed or not good about yourself, then start thinking about maybe limiting the time that you spend on there.
I would say I try to keep it minimal on how often I'm on my phone, but if they're on their phones, I probably would be on mine too.
Screen usage has resulted in an imbalance between real versus reality. Smartphones alone are used by 2.4 billion people in the top 50 countries like China, India, and the United States. So how can we make a difference or help in the growing problem that we face today? Parents can get kids involved in sports and other activities. Another solution could be that friends and family hold each other accountable when they are spending time together. Make everyone put their phones down when they're at the dinner table, and whoever picks theirs up first gets to pay the whole bill. If you're experiencing anxiety and depression because of screen addiction, you can always contact your local therapist or counselor. This is Rachel Blankenship with GSU TV.